This is Bo Pilgrim with Reed Insurance. I've been talking to you about auto insurance. Previous videos, we talked to you about liability, the different parts of the policy, and then also medical payments coverage. Today, we're going to talk about physical damage coverage. That's what we refer to it as in insurance agencies. The physical damage part of your policy is going to include comprehensive and collision coverage. Now, both of these are coverages that you buy that will repair or replace your car if something happens to it. These are coverages that are not going to be mandated by any sort of state laws. They may be required if you have a lien or you're making payments on that car. Usually they have a deductible. The deductible means that's the part you paid or that you are responsible for, and then the insurance company will pay the rest of it. So there's two primary parts to that, and it's comprehensive and collision. Let's talk about collision first. Collision is, the name kind of says it to some degree. It is when you collide with something else. It is either you hit another car, you collide with a tree, a building, a house, a fence, any sort of thing like that falls underneath collision. Two other examples are if you hit a pothole in the road and it does some sort of damage to your car, that's also collision. And then another thing is if you just have a single car accident where maybe you roll the car over, something happens, you lose control or something like that, you go off the side of a road and you lose control of that car and it turns over and does damage to it. That's going to fall underneath collision coverage. Now, as I said before, both of these have deductibles. That deductible is going to be your responsibility, and that deductible is going to range anywhere from $250 to $2,500, sometimes even higher than that, depending on the type of car and your appetite to be able to handle part of that loss. Understand this, that the correlation between that deductible and your premium are opposite of each other, meaning the higher the deductible, the lower your premium will be, versus the lower that deductible is, the higher your premium is going to be. So kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at your insurance. You know, I talked before about liability, that lower limits there was not a wise place to try to save premium. This is where it is much wiser to try to save on premium dollars by having a higher deductible. Something that a lot of people don't understand about collision coverage also is that you do not have to be at fault in order to file underneath your collision coverage. An example would be if you have an accident where you're not at fault, it's not your fault at all, it's somebody else's, but either they don't have insurance or maybe their insurance company is just being really slow to pay. You can file that claim under your insurance policy and it will pay your damages minus your deductible, and then they will try to recoup those expenses from the other party, including your deductible. The best route is still to file it underneath their insurance if they're at fault, but sometimes it becomes necessary to file it underneath your own. The other part of the physical damage coverage is comprehensive. Sometimes we will refer to it as, or it will be in your policy as, other than collision insurance or other than collision coverage. And what that is that kind of is everything else that potentially can happen to your car outside of like maintenance and stuff like that. This is going to be, it's a long list. These are just some of the different things that are going to be included in that, such as if you have collision with an animal. So I know we talked about collision before and it even says other than collision, but understand if you hit an animal, a deer, a bird, a dog, something like that, and it does damage to your car, know that you can file that under comprehensive. Now, why would you do that? Because one, the deductible is much lower here. And then the second, collisions are chargeable accidents where comprehensive typically are not. So keep that in mind. Some other things that are covered underneath there is glass breakage or glass repair, like when you get your windshield replaced or repaired. Also included in that is flood. If your car was to get flooded because of excessive rain. If you had hail damage, you had a tree fall on your car car caught on fire, someone stole your car, or they just vandalized your car. All these different things fall underneath comprehensive coverage. Again, this one also has a deductible, which means that's your responsibility. The deductible also has a relation to the premium. The higher deductible, the lower you'll pay for this part of the coverage. The lower the deductible, the more you'll pay. So again, this is another good place to potentially save on your premium dollars. To take a little bit higher deductible and then save a little bit of premium on your policy. Keep those extra dollars in your pocket, and then whenever you have a claim, it should wash out if you do have a claim, but more than likely you will be ahead. So let's recap a little bit. So 2 different parts. Comprehensive collision, these are parts of physical damage. They both have deductibles, which means that's your part you're responsible for. The deductible, the higher the deductible, the lower you're going to pay for your premium. The lower the deductible, the more you're going to pay for your insurance policy. Neither one of them are mandated, but your lien holder may require you to have these. So I hope that helps you, and it helps you to understand a little bit more about what these coverages do for you. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Happy to help you in any way we can. The thing that's different about us is that one, we're going to make sure that your policy is doing its number one job, which is to protect your assets. The number 2 thing is we're going to make sure that you understand what you're buying and you feel good about the decision that you're making. Third, we're going to try to make sure that that fits inside of your budget. And lastly, because we're an independent agent, we represent a lot of insurance companies. And each and every year, we're going to market your policies with our different companies we got. Or in other words, we're going to check it against all the different insurance companies we represent. And then we are going to make sure that we're keeping you in the best deal, so you don't have to do that. We'll take care of that headache for you, so you don't have to be worried about that. So reach out to us. You can find us online at reedinsla.com, also on Facebook. If you want to Google us, you can Google us at reedinsurance in Vidalia, Louisiana, and reach out to us. We'd be glad to help you in any way that we can. You have a good day.